Amy Tan's Two Kinds. Wow. It's one of those stories that really sticks with you, you know? It's this incredible look at the tug of war between a mother's huge dreams and a daughter's search for her own identity. So today, let's break down this classic story. We're going to dive into all of it. The big expectations, the rebellion, and what it really means to find your own tune in life.
Everything, and I mean everything, in this story starts right here. This one single belief. For Jingmei's mother, this isn't just some casual, optimistic idea. No way. It's her lifeline. It's the engine that powers every single hope and, honestly, every single fight that's coming. But you have to ask, where does a belief that intense even come from?
Well, that huge, open-ended belief in America, it pretty quickly got narrowed down to a very, very specific mission. Her daughter, Jingmei, had to be a prodigy. And this wasn't just about being successful. For her mother, this was about getting back everything she'd ever lost.
So to really get why this dream was so intense, you have to understand the nightmare that came before it. Jingmei's mother didn't just move to America, she fled. She left behind a life where she lost it all: her parents, her home, her husband, and a secret she buried for years, her 2 baby girls. So America wasn't just a new place to live, it was a clean slate. And her new American daughter was the one person she could pour all of her hopes into.
And in the beginning, Jingmei was totally on board with this. It was a shared dream. She was just 9 years old, and she got completely swept up in these fantasies of becoming famous, adored, maybe a ballerina, or even Cinderella. At that point, the prodigy dream was their dream, not just your mom's.
But turning that dream into a reality, that turned out to be a little tricky. Her mom started these nightly tests, all based on stuff she saw in magazines. The plan to become a Chinese Shirley Temple? It ended in a haircut so bad her mom said she looked Negro Chinese. Then there was the geography quiz. The capital of Finland? Jingmei's best guess was Nairobi. The test just kept failing, and you could just feel her mother's disappointment growing every single night.
Okay, so this is where everything changes. This whole cycle of trying and failing, hope and disappointment, it finally snaps something inside Jingmei. And the mission to be a prodigy? It becomes a full-blown battle of wills.
So after one more failure, Jingmei catches a glimpse of herself in the bathroom mirror. And she doesn't see a prodigy. She just sees her own ordinary face. But then, as she's staring, something else looks back at her from behind the tears. It's this angry, powerful, and really stubborn girl.
And that right there becomes her new purpose. Her identity is no longer about becoming someone special. It's about refusing to become the person her mother wants her to be. She makes a promise to herself that she'll resist, that she'll just be her. The prodigy hunt is officially over. The rebellion has just begun.
And this is where the title of the story, Two Kinds, really comes into focus. Her mother's worldview is totally black and white. There's just no middle ground. For her, there are only 2 kinds of daughters: the obedient kind, who listens and tries to be the best, and the other kind, the one who follows her own mind. And according to her mom, only the obedient kind gets to live in her house. It's an impossible choice, and it sets them on a collision course.
So the stage for this rebellion gets set. After seeing a Chinese girl playing piano on TV, Jingmei's mom gets a new idea. Piano! That's it! She finds a teacher in their apartment building, a retired guy named Old Chung. And here's the kicker. Mr. Chung? He's completely deaf.
I mean, it's almost funny in a really dark way. Jingmei quickly figures out that as long as she kind of keeps the rhythm going, Mr. Chung has no idea she's hitting all the wrong notes. So her piano practice becomes the perfect cover for her rebellion. She can just sit there, not even trying, playing lazily, and her deaf teacher is just beaming at her, telling her she's doing great.
All right, so this is all leading somewhere, right? All of this lazy practicing and this quiet resentment, it's all about to come to a head on a very, very public stage. We're talking about the annual church talent show.
So how did this train wreck happen? Well, it was like the perfect storm. First, you got months and months of lazy practice where not a single mistake was ever fixed. Then, her mom starts bragging to her rival, Auntie Lindo, about Jingmei's amazing natural talent. And hearing that, it just makes Jingmei determined to fail, to humiliate her mother in public. The result? At the recital, she plays her piece, and it comes out as this awful jumble of sour notes.
And this is the part that just guts Jingmei. It's not the audience's awkward silence. It's seeing her mother's face. It's just quiet, blank, utterly stricken. It was a look of total devastation, like she'd lost everything all over again. And for Jingmei, that silence was way, way worse than any screaming match could ever be.
A couple of days later, the fight she'd been expecting finally erupts. Her mom says she has to go back to piano lessons, and Jingmei just says, no. That's when her mother unleashes her whole worldview, screaming that only an obedient daughter gets to live in her house. And in that moment, in the heat of this horrible fight, Jingmei says the one thing she knows is absolutely forbidden, the one thing that could truly hurt her mother. She brings up the lost twins from China, and those words, they just stop her mother cold. The fight is instantly over. The anger just drains away, and her mom just retreats, looking, as Jingmei says, brittle and lifeless.
But that's not where the story ends. The fight is over, and years go by where they never, ever speak of it again. But with time, something else comes. Perspective, forgiveness, and a really, really beautiful realization.
So, fast forward, it's Jingmei's 30th birthday, and out of the blue, her mother offers her the old piano. And for the adult Jingmei, this quiet, simple gesture means everything. She sees it as a sign of forgiveness, and it feels like this huge weight has finally been lifted off her shoulders. The pressure is just gone.
Later, after her mother has passed away, Jingmei is going through her things, and she sits down at that old piano. She finds the music book and opens it right to Pleading Child, the disastrous song from the recital. But this time, she notices something she never saw before. On the page right next to it is another song, Perfectly Contented.
So she starts to play them. Pleading Child is short, slow, kind of sad. Perfectly Contented is longer, lighter, faster. And as she's playing them, one after the other, it just clicks. They weren't opposites. They were connected. They were two halves of the very same song. The pleading, rebellious child and the perfectly contented, peaceful adult. Both of them were her.
And that's really the beautiful message at the heart of this story, isn't it? We're not just one thing. We're all of it. We're our struggles and our peace, our rebellious moments and our contented ones. So the question the story leaves us with is one we can all probably ask ourselves. What are the two halves that make up your song?